Hello and welcome to my studio, and some of you, welcome back to my studio. Today I'm gonna show you how I get started with oil painting of great horned owl. So here is my tabletop painting station, and I wanna show you how easy it is to clean the glass palette with oil paint on. So I'm gonna bring the camera closer. So today I said I'm gonna do our drawing demo. And today I'm using three primary colors like I did before. These are the colors I recommend my students to use for their beginners oil painting classes. Okay. All right, let me put our reference image for the day. Boom. So this is a great horned owl that I saw in Montana. And actually he was part of the rescue bird at the bird sanctuary. So I had the opportunity to have a very close-up look of these birds, including him. That's why he didn't fly away while we were photographing him. So after shooting the image, I cropped it. First of all, I edited this image in image editor on my laptop. I used Adobe Lightroom to manipulate the contrast and the exposure. But because I was using professional grade camera, I was using Canon Canon Mark II 70. I think that's what I was using. Yeah. That's why you can see the fine details of this bird, especially around his face. And I wanted to get this soft edges around his eye. That's part of the reason I wanted to paint this. So after cropping the image, I used the image gridding software called Proportion Grid Marker. I'm using in Windows, so I have Android tablet, and Grid Marker is, I know it's available for Windows, but I'm not sure if it's available for Mac. But if you do Google search, I'm sure you can find something similar to that that does this grid drawing, the grid app for drawing, or something like a grid app for artists. So that's what I used. Now, normally in our beginners class, I use pencil to draw grid on the canvas, then draw the big shapes of the subject onto the canvas or onto the drawing paper. However, because of the time constraint, I'm gonna do this directly onto canvas, and that's exactly how I do when I paint plein air or when I'm doing a demo. It you can do it interchangeably. It really doesn't matter. The biggest concern is to have the proportion of the big shapes on the canvas correctly. So I'm mixing dark neutral color to draw. So it's almost like charcoal drawing with oil paint. So pretty much everything I do in this painting is just a mixture of the three colors and or titanium white. So even my custom black is made of these three colors. It's just a matter of how much portion I use for each color. If you haven't seen it already, I just did a oil painting demo of a chicken last night. So if you're on my mailing list, you should be receiving the link to that particular demo. It's also on my Facebook page, Naomi Gray Art. So I'm eyeballing this mixture. I want to get the nice dark brown. Actually, maybe I want to make this leaning more toward the purple. So for underpainting, you can use any color of your choice depending on the scene that you want to create. For landscape with lot of green stuff in the picture, I like to go with something more reddish and orangish because it's a complementary color of green. But with this one, I'm looking at his golden yellow eye, and I'm thinking about the complementary of that. So this is a color where I painted with these three primary colors. I don't know if you can see all the details, but there are 35 different colors, including pure white and black. But these are all made from these three primary colors plus white. So you can see how versatile it is to use this particular limited palette. So I'm looking at the yellow. That's the color of the eye, and complementary color is the opposite side of this color wheel. So color wheel is made of 3 primary colors plus that is yellow, red, and blue, and secondary colors in between. That's green, orange, and purple. Basically, they are the half tone between these primary colors, and that's how you get. Basically, that's how you get it. I added a smidge of white for these dark colors just so that it will show up better on this canvas. So I want to experiment. Like being artist is kind of like being a lab scientist. We always experiment, test our assumption on the canvas, and sometimes it's the right choice, sometimes it's not the right choice. And just like Thomas Edison said, like, we never fail, we just learn what works and what's not. So I'm gonna go with this purple, but I think I'm gonna make it a little neutral. So this second ring inside the bright colors on the outer ring is a neutralized version, desaturated version of the main color wheel. So this is desaturated by adding just a hint of the opposite color, which is the complementary color. So I think we know the recipe now. We mix the purple and add a little bit of complementary yellow. So that being said, let's see where we are now. I already started mixing all these 3 colors, but I want to make this more purple by enhancing my blue. Basically, for underpainting, before putting the actual colors on the subsequent layers, I don't usually put white in it, so it's very transparent. So you may be wondering, what about burnt sienna or other colors that the expert artists use? I've seen that at demo, or my friends use that and this and that, but you can use them as a shortcut. But if you are starting out how to paint in general, it's highly recommended that you try mixing as many colors as you can with the limited palette. And as long as you have these 3 primary colors, you will be much more versatile artist in the long run, because even if you start using more colors, you're gonna have more confidence mixing and utilizing those colors. I'm just gonna add a little bit of Gamsol. So this is Gamsol. It's an artist grade odorless mineral spirit. And I use this for thinning the paint and cleaning my brushes. So I'm testing this. So with that little bit of thinner, it's too thick and I can't see the color. So it's pretty close. So this is like a soupy consistency. It's not like tea. You can see my glass palette, which is propped up against my tabletop easel. It's not running down. So that's it's not running down on the canvas. It's okay if it streaks down a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna apply this wash more. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep this thin. The reason we want to add wash on the white canvas is to get rid of this bright white, which makes it harder for us to judge the color more accurately. It can be done, but it's just harder to do. So I'm spreading the paint and removing the extra pigment. So I can also like make some interesting texture, but it doesn't really matter because it'll be covered anyway. The first thing I want to do is to draw the grid. So I'm going to divide it into quarters. I'm using number 6 flat Bristol brush, but it doesn't matter at this stage. Okay. Now I'm drawing all the grid lines vertically and horizontally. Okay. So I'm resting this brush with paint in the mug so that it doesn't put paint on the tabletop. And I have several laundry clips so that when I put more than one brush with paint on the tip, they don't touch each other and contaminate the brush with unwanted colors. I'm gonna switch to small brush. This is number 2 filbert. So these brushes I'm using, these are from Robert Simmons, and these are Signet series. Okay, now I'm gonna take a little bit of the same color and I'm going to start sketching in. So I'm looking at the shapes in each grid boxes. I see a little triangle here, the negative space between the grid lines and the back of his head. And it goes up. I also see, I'm looking for what intersecting these grid lines. I'm just placing the left shapes in each grid box. So this is a great way to train your eyes to compare and contrast the image between the canvas, your canvas, and the reference or model. And you are less overwhelmed because you are just dealing with one block at a time. I'm just indicating this dark beak. The name of the game is to make your painting as easy as possible. So I'm looking for the placement of the eye. It comes about halfway and drops down. And it doesn't go all the way to the base of this box. So it's like that. The edges of this drawing doesn't have to be hard at all. You just wanna have a basic placement. just like putting highlights, it's fun to put eyes at the beginning because that will kind of encourages me to keep going. So in our painting adventure studio, we have weekly lessons, and part of the lessons is to do this grid drawing together, step by step. So we take more time and analyze the image. We even select the reference image for the group project together. So there's an incentive of participating in the selection process because that will be featured for the rest of the month. And each month we have different subjects, including animals, still life, and in the near future we're gonna start doing some landscapes. But since we're just starting out, we're starting out with the basics of drawing. So everybody is going through the same training. I'm also blocking in the dark shapes. Maybe I will add a little bit of mineral spirit. Oops, that's too much. So I'm gonna just tap the brush onto paper towel so I can just get rid of excess Gamsol. I don't want to have too much Gamsol on the canvas, so I want to adjust how much I'm putting on the canvas beforehand. Okay. Let's see. So there's a line that comes down on the cheek. And curves around like C shape and goes above the eye. The C shape comes down and curves around this corner of the center. Now his cheek. So it goes up, the dark area goes up like that. It's too much. Because the oil paint stays wet long enough that I can keep correcting my mistakes with paper towel. It's so easy, so forgiving. I think oil painting is one of the best way to learn to draw. just indicating a little bit of feathers using the brush stroke. Just having fun while doing the job, doing the work. Okay, so on the left edge of the canvas, I see a little bit of triangle here like this. I want to make sure I put that in. Now I can connect these two dots like that. Then now I'm looking at the big picture. So this gentle curve goes all the way up to the base of the bottom of his tuft. This little spiky feathers look like ears. That makes his appearance so unique. Okay. Doesn't have to be precise. I'm just putting general shapes for this stage. Now I want to bring this dark shapes all the way down to this C shape that we just created. I'm looking at the difference image on my tablet, which is just behind your screen, like that. Just in case you're wondering, I'm sitting on my office chair right behind this webcam in front of my easel. So the camera is between my eyes and the easel. I'm looking over the camera. So you are literally seeing what I'm seeing. You're even in front of me. I'm behind you. So this is even better than having a front row seat. It's not always possible because if the canvas is much bigger than this, I might have to have a camera in a different spot on the tripod. But I'm using the light stand for photography as my webcam stand. So I have a gorilla pod wrapped around this light stand. One thing I noticed, I need to get rid of this grid lines before they completely dries. I will show you my trick. I add a little bit of thin paint and just go over and tap it away. It will soften the pigment on the canvas that's starting to settle down. And it also adds another layer of interesting patterns. There. If you are watching this live and have any questions, please please type your questions in the chat, and I will be happy to answer when I get a chance. And I also love to know where you're watching this from. I'm in Washington State. How about you? Are you Pacific? Are you in Pacific time? Are you in Eastern time zone? Or are you in the US or are you somewhere else? I know some of my email subscribers are traveling abroad because I see their comments from different part of the world. But I can't tell where you are during the live. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this line too. By the way, if you're wondering, I'm using linen canvas panel. Means that the canvas is made of linen and it's glued and mounted onto a MDF panel specifically for oil painting because it's already primed with oil primer. Some panels are available with acrylic primer on it, like gesso. Gesso is type of acrylic-based primer for canvas, and it's white. It has a opaque white pigment. I'm tapping this away. But oil primed canvas is only suitable for oil painting because just like house paint, I don't know if you have used house paint and wondered if we should get oil-based or water-based house paint, because it all depends on what already on the wall. So there's a way to find out by like using some kind of solvent or some kind of solution to see if the existing paint will come off or not. Then you have to pick the paint that is compatible with the existing layer of paint. The same deal with threading canvas. So by knowing what's on the canvas, well, you don't choose. You already know that you want to use oil paint, so you want to learn if it's oil based or acrylic based, and I think the rule of thumb is what people call fat over lean, meaning you put layer with more oil on top, then you don't do reverse of that. Otherwise, the new layer will peel off after before you know. The same deal with canvas. If you put a water-based pigment, the pigment is the same across any medium, but if you're using water-based medium like acrylic or watercolor on top of oil primed canvas, you won't be able to have the painting for a long time, because the paint is gonna be paint will be repelled. It's not gonna stick on. But if we're using oil, you can go with acrylic primer or oil primed canvas. And if the canvas is, your painting surface doesn't have pores like glass or metal, you don't need a primer either. I've painted on window glass, painted on like glass ornament for the ornament for Christmas tree with oil paint. Using paper towel like eraser. I'm squinting my eyes to see the value relationship of these shapes. A lot of new artists are attracted to bright colors, and they forget about the importance of value study. So in painting, color gets all the credit, but the value, like tonal value, actually does all the work. So you can see my painting, which is just monochromatic of violet, muted violet, it's already starting to come to life, so to speak, because I'm taking care of the value relationships of these big shapes, and that's exactly what makes the structure of the painting work. And that's exactly why in our membership called Painting Adventure Studio, we start out with pencil drawing lessons. So you don't even need to invest in oil painting gear or supplies at the beginning. You eventually will learn to use your oil paint supplies, but you can start out with very minimum investment. So you just need pencil and paper and eraser. Then you will learn techniques similar to what I'm just doing in front of you guys. I recently started this membership program in addition to our painting courses, because well it's based on my personal experience of doing taking a bunch of workshops from prominent artists around the country. I realized that I really could use ongoing support and guidance from an expert. But the weakness about those expensive temporary workshops is that once they are done with teaching for the weekend or a few days, um, they are busy with their other business. They're not available to even um, answer any technical questions about painting, because you are not you're technically done as a paid customer. And workshops are meant to be the place to get information. You don't have time to complete your project. You don't have time. You never have time to complete the lesson. Because not many students can keep up with the painting speed of the instructor, and you're busy watching the demo to start with. So that's why I wanted to create this program that has all the recorded lessons, printable reference images that they can even display on the computer screen or tablet, and online community like private Facebook group that we have, where people can exchange ideas, post questions, and share our lesson works and independent works in progress, so that we get inspired and we get ongoing feedback. And I know that the painting career can be very lonely because you're working in a solitary environment. But we have weekly lessons through Zoom. We have an online community in the Facebook group, and we also have group critic and group coaching sessions. And we also have a co-working session where you can just hop into a Zoom call and work on your own project without being bothered by other people, but just sharing the same creative space across the Zoom. Okay. I'm enhancing this dark areas and I'll be done. Notice I'm using this brush almost flat, so I can deposit more pigment rather than lifting it off. Maybe I want to enhance his eye. Did you notice I'm using relatively bigger brush for this kind of fine details, not details, but or in general. This is exactly how you get the soft looking painting. And if you want to learn how to paint loose, like many of my paintings do, Painting Adventure Studio is definitely for you, because that's exactly what we go for. We're not going for super realism. We're not going for photorealism. We do use photos as our starting point and inspiration. So we value the quality reference images, but I will also show you how you can utilize even blurry pictures. So no photos are garbage. So I'm adding more shade here, wiping this. I'm just letting this whole brush here to do the work. Okay, there you have it. So this is our underpainting, and we used purple today. It doesn't look too bad. And if any of you who are joining our membership will have access to all these recorded demos and lessons in our lesson library, including the reference images. So that's a huge bonus. If you missed out any of my demos this week and last week, don't worry, you will have access to those lessons and workshops in your library. Okay, I'm just removing some of this I'm dipping some of the gamsol and with my paper towel, and I'm lifting off this pigment. So if you want to learn more about the Painting Adventure Studio, please go to paintingstudio.xyz/join, and you'll see all other information and how to join. Right now, I'm looking for a handful of funding members to create custom learning programs. And the funding membership price will last forever as long as you stay in a membership. I'm gonna touch up his beak. And our enrollment window of this membership is closing this week. Tapping and adding more pigment. I hope you guys found this helpful. So once I'm done with this value study, I can start adding another layer with different colors to make this more interesting and more realistic. But the value relationship has to be taken care of at the beginning, and that's how I paint wildlife and other animals. And that's true for any other subject. Thank you for watching.